Hello again. Welcome to TSDitto Photography Studio and Gallery's YouTube channel. I am going to attempt for the second time to make a fake cake, a dummy cake for a prop to be used for my photography studio. Now, as you can see, I am starting off with a paper plate. Just as I did on my last video when I made this fake cake. It is made out of styrofoam that I purchased at the dollar store. I purchased 2 packs of styrofoam rounds, and these styrofoam rounds are used as craft for floral, making floral decorations. I used two sets of 2, $1 a piece for the first set of 2, and then I adhered them together. I painted them and I decorated them with patch plaster, the soft, lightweight kind, and I mixed this with colored paint from the paint section that I purchased at Walmart, and voila, I ended up with my first attempt at a fake cake, which will be used as a prop. Now, of course, in the photography, the main subject would be the person who's posing for the photos, of course, so the prop would be in the background. It may be used as something that's held, or maybe on a table or something, but it will not be the main subject in the photography. So it's composition, what it looks like. You know, I think it's something that'll be appealing. It's, you know, good enough, basically. Today I'm going to make another, and yeah, of course, I'll just take these out of the plastic that they came in. Again, the styrofoam rounds. Please excuse my dog in the background. 2 of them, they like to be the stars of my videos. But in the meantime, they will be ignored. I'm going to make my cakes. And what I'm doing for this particular video is I'm going to make some adjustments to how I made the first cake. One of the things that I've decided to do, instead of trying to glue the styrofoam rounds together, what I plan to do is I am going to adhere them with the plaster. I think that's going to be a good choice because in one of the rounds here on the first fake cake, the plaster did not adhere with the glue at all. So I did end up using plaster. The styrofoam didn't adhere with the glue at all. So I did end up using plaster to seal them together, and it worked just as if I was putting icing in between the rounds. So I think that would be a good idea. All right, so I'm just putting my trash off to the side. And I have 4 rounds, and the next thing I'm going to do is mix my plaster. So I have a plastic cup. You can use a red cup, you can use any size cup, you can use a real cup if you want to, but I'm going to use my plaster that I purchased from Home Depot. Again, the suggested was plaster that you would purchase from the dollar store, but it would probably take 3, 4, maybe 5 of those containers to add up to this size, which, you know, 1 container would probably make the 1 cake. So if I want to make multiple cakes like I'm doing now, I'll purchase a bigger size, such as this one. It was about $6 or $7. And again, it's lightweight spackling, and I will use that to make more than one cake, because if you're going to start crafts, you'll probably be doing multiple crafts. You won't just do one craft and be done. All right. I purchased a spackle tool from the dollar store. And if you can see the consistency of this spackling putty, as I'll call it, it's kind of lightweight. And again, it's called lightweight. And the reason why I chose this particular bucket of spackling is because when you pick it up, it is quite light to pick it up. In my research and in my actual first cake, I realized as I was icing the cake, as you would say, that the spackling being lightweight as it seems, it was kind of light as I was putting it on the cake itself. So during my research, I learned this week that cornstarch is a thickening agent. It's a thickening agent not only for food, but it could be a thickening agent for the spackle. So instead of buying the heavier spackling, I would add just a little bit of cornstarch. And what I was noticing when I was trying to make my first cake, I did several attempts at decorating. And what I wanted to do was make a cake with rosettes on it all over the sides. And I failed, and I ended up just kind of slathering it on the sides, slathering what we'll call icing on the sides. But if I add the cornstarch to it, I may be able to come up with some rosettes. So I'm going to add this cornstarch. Cornstarch is very inexpensive. I want to say that's been under $1, but I'll just estimate or guesstimate up, round up as you would, and say that I probably spent $2 on this 16 ounces of cornstarch. I bought it a few months ago for another reason, but you know, I think having it around is a good idea for this project. So I am going to guess at how much cornstarch I want to add. Again, cornstarch being a thickening agent, and I'm not a baker. So I am going to, it's kind of fuzzy. Oh, I know what I did. Oh, okay. Ignore what I'm doing right now because this is what I was using it for the other purpose. Okay. Oh, these are little sponges. That's a whole different project. But, so I'll take one of these plastic spoons full of cornstarch and I will just add it in and stir it together. Just a plastic spoonful, stir it together and see if it'll thicken it up just a tad. Now, depending on how thick it is, I may add just a little bit more of the plaster. But what I want to do, and another reason why I decided that I needed to thicken it up, is when you add the paint to the plaster, the paint also thins the plaster as well. This time, I said in my previous video, I'm going to make multiple different cakes in different colors. So this time, I think I want to make a purple cake. So I'll use this purple paint. Now, I got it from Home Depot. I got it from Walmart. And it appears that sometimes Walmart puts stuff back after it's been used. So this may have been used when I purchased it. I did try and get some money back off of it, but the salesperson didn't know how to do that. It was a brand new person for the holidays. So I didn't stress. I just went on and purchased it. It was about 50 cents, so it wasn't a problem. Now, put a couple of drops in there. I'll call them globs. Just a couple of globs in there. And as I mix it, it will, as you can see, it's thinning out the paint and the cornstarch. And another thing that I noticed when I was making my first cake is, regardless of the original color of paint that you put in there, the white plaster makes it just a little bit lighter. So, of course, I wouldn't want a big dark purple cake. I mean, even eating that, it sounds like it might be a little not tasty. So I am going to just leave it this nice lavender color. I think that's pretty cute. And just scrape off some of the excess from the spoon. I'll use the knife to stir it a little bit. It might help out. Get some of this excess off of there, because I don't want to waste any. I don't want to waste any. Now, remember, I used my turntable. I didn't purchase the actual turntable that was in the cake decorating department. I purchased one of those turntables that you would use your spices on. It saved me about $1, and I think that was a good savings. It's doing the same thing. It might not be as smooth, but it does the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and keep stirring. I may put a little bit more plaster in there and a little bit more paint, but it's thicker. I'm a little excited about that because it is thicker than what it was last time. Put some more plaster in there. As you can see, the cup may be a little small, but let's just go ahead and keep stirring. Keep stirring. May add a little more paint. It's a softer purple, you know, but I do want my pictures to be vibrant. So when I take my pictures, one thing that I like to ask the parents, if I ask them to bring a real cake, is to bring a colorful cake, because sometimes the flash might blow out the color of the cake. Again, the cake is not the main subject, but I want the cake to stand out, to look like a cake. So I'll put a little bit more purple in there. It's thick. It's a little darker than the first purple, but it's still giving me a vibrant color. I like it. I like it. Now, one thing I can do, again, is add more spackle. I can add more spackle. I can even add a drop or two of white paint, and it'll make it the color, a lighter color as well. I'll do the spackle because I need a lot to pipe with. So I am going to try my piping again. Last time, one of my issues was the piping wasn't thick enough, so the rosettes did not adhere. I mean, even piping the trim did not adhere. So I think that with the thickening agent, and again, I'll put just the tiniest scoop of cornstarch in, just to see if I can get it to a good consistency as best I can. I'm going to attempt to pipe rosettes again on this cake. Now, if it does not work, I will chicken out and make just another flat cake with the little edging that I did before. Edging is what I'm calling it, but naked cake with ombre effect. Is probably the best way to describe the pink cake. So I'll pull it up. I'll show it in front of the camera in just a second. I'm noticing at the bottom of the cup, there's some color that didn't mix in. So I'm just trying to scrape in there and get it. I'm using a plastic knife, so I don't want it to break off in the bottom of the cup. But I think the consistency is good. I'm proud. I'm proud of that. It feels good. It feels nice and thick. I may be able to come up with a rosette or two. I'm excited. All right. The cake is going to be purple, so it doesn't matter if I lay my utensils along the side. All right. A new addition to my last episode. I'll go ahead and close up my spackle for now because I don't want it to dry out. Different from thickening is drying completely out. Don't want that to happen, so I'll just put the top on and push it to the side. One thing that I've added to my process is using an actual spatula to place the icing into my piping bag. Now, what I did not use originally was an actual piping bag. Last time I used a gallon size plastic bag, storage bag from Walmart. And I saved money doing that. So this time I decided, and you should always clean up behind yourself as you work so that you don't make an unexpected mess. So this time I decided to use a quart size plastic bag, a quart size versus the gallon size. So I'm saving money by using a plastic bag. This one is a storage bag. And I'm saving money. This was about $1.72. And I believe even the gallon size was $1.72. I'm going to cut off the tip. I don't have a pair of scissors with me. So 1 second, I'm going to find a pair of scissors. Right offset, so it doesn't matter. Real quick, pair of scissors, cut off the tip. Yeah, these dollar store scissors, they are cheaply made, but if you find the right spot, it'll cut. Let me see. Find the right spot, it'll cut. Can't get it. 1 second, I'll find the right spot. It'll cut nice and it'll cut off. But this one is not cooperating, so I'll figure it out. I may edit that out. All right, so I found a little tip. It's in there somewhere. Blow it away. So I cut off the edge. And I'm going to use, not too much. I'm going to use my little piping tool. Now this one, I'm not sure what kind of flowers it does. According to the set that I purchased, this particular one that I took out should make this kind of flower, okay? Let's hope it does. The last time, again, my icing was too thick, so I couldn't do it. I couldn't achieve it. But I'm going to attempt this again. You go ahead and you place your piping tip. I believe it's called a tip. Yeah, tip set. You go ahead and place it in the corner, and then you fold down your bag. And you use your spatula. Let's see. I'll move some of the things out of the way. You use your spatula. Again, I didn't have a spatula last time. And you scoop your icing into the piping bag right there in the corner. So you just scoop it in there and you let it go. Get some more. Scoop it in there. Let it go. Make sure your tip is down there. All right. And then you roll up. Try and get it placed in there real good. Now, again, no expert here. No expert here. I'll edit that out. And you try and you pipe. Now, I'm thinking that if you look at it, that I may want to start over. It's giving me some type of design, but I'm not sure if it's the design that I want to achieve for my cake. So it's interesting, it's cute, but I'm not certain if I want it to look exactly like that. Now, again, I'm a newbie, but I may start over again, just like I did several times last time. Interesting, but not exactly where I want to be. Now, my point is learning. I'm learning as I go, but I'm also helping someone else who may want to try this craft for the first time themselves, and allowing them to understand that mistakes will happen, and you know, there may be an opportunity to start over without feeling guilty or without feeling bad. So I think I may scoop it off and try again. Now, one thing that I did say that I was going to do was adhere the layers of cake with spackle. I don't want to waste my color spackle. So I think I am going to do that with the actual spackle from the tub. So let's go ahead and do that now. Just a little bitty dollop, maybe. Just a little dollop. And I can move these. And I'll just slide it off on there. And as you can see, just slide it off on there. Put it in between. Press it on. And seal. I think that's perfect. The first video that I saw, the person used double-sided tape. Well, I saw double-sided tape for $5 each, just for, you know, let me give it illustration. Tape. Got this from the dollar store. It's not double-sided. This is tape for, you know, wrapping Christmas presents. I'm not going to use it and, you know, maybe roll it or however to make it two-sided. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to save my tape for Christmas presents. And I'm going to use the actual spackle to adhere my cake layers together. I'm not using too much. I'm not using too little. I'm using just the right amount. And I am going to adhere my cake layers together using spackle. The last layer, I put it on top, smush it down, and once it dries, my cake should not come apart. Now, difference being, let me see if I can find it. I'm not certain if it's here. The glue that I used last week did not adhere the cake together at all. Now look, cake is not going anywhere. No, buddy, it's not coming off at all. The spackle will dry in between each layer, and especially when I completely ice the cake, the spackle will harden all around the cake and seal everything together. Now, as I stated before, I'm going to remove this icing from the edges of the cake because it's just not giving me a consistency of a rose. I think my best bet would be to try and do roses on top, but not to attempt to do roses on the side. I think that would be the best thing. And actually, I can go ahead and just do what I did last week and just use the spatula, and I can do it this way. Use the spatula and ice the cake with the spatula. This is probably the best bet. This is better than what I did last time because I'm not using the spackle tool. I'm using a spatula. And I may get a prettier pattern. And I think it's cute. I think it's coming around. Nice pattern. The rosettes did not work for me. They did not work because the consistency of the icing or the spackle is just too thin to give me a pattern of a rosette that, especially since it's on the sides, it runs down. So maybe for another fake cake decorator, but not for Tina, not for TSDitto. It's just not working for me. So I will do this. And any layers that may not be exactly level, the spackle will fill in the gaps. So I'm taking the spackle out of the cup and I am swirling as best I can, making some type of design. Now, just as Mom's homemade cakes would, you know, the mom would, or the cake decorator, but basically Mom's homemade cakes, because a cake decorator would be able to do a much better job. A baker or someone who owns a bakery or something. Mom's homemade cakes, they might look more like this on the sides. But I did say that I would try. And these smaller cake rounds are easier to hold. So this is easier to hold. I was concerned with, You know, these cakes are going to be so small. I don't think I'm going to like this project, but I think that they are almost perfect size for just a prop. I think they're perfect size for a prop. So it's not too big. It's not too small. I did say in the previous video that I would not use these for a cake smash for a small child or a first birthday, because, you know, a 1-year-old doesn't know their own strength. They just know pick up, throw. And, you know, it doesn't always, you know, land in the proper spot. It won't be on the set of the photography set at the end of the day. So I don't think I want to do that. I don't think I want to hand it to a small child. It wouldn't be good. So, but I think that this is cute. Just a little pattern. Try and get the edges, try and get the bottom. Try and get in between the layers, the sides of the layers, because some of them may be a little bit wider than the next. So you go ahead and kind of push it in there. Push it in there. Fill in any holes. Again, try and get the bottom, because you don't want the bottom to, now, you know, remember this rolls around, but for the sake of me videoing, I am holding it up, because I noticed in my previous video that you couldn't see the sides as I was icing. So I'm holding it up, and I'll put my finger over the top to try and get those spots, and try and hold it in place while I'm icing. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just think of it as a homemade cake. I'm not here as a baker. I'm not here as a professional icing connoisseur. I'm here as a photographer making a prop. Just something to add to the background. I can go ahead and stir some more with the spatula. And then I still have more icing in the piping bag. So again, please excuse any dog sounds. I will try and edit those out. Editing is not one of my professions either, so if it's in the background, as long as it doesn't affect the video, I don't mind. I don't mind. But at the end of the day, if it looks like a cake, that would be my goal. I'm just trying to make a prop that looks similar to a cake. Bloop. And that's not bad. It's not horrible. You're not going to eat it. Don't have to worry about how it tastes. It smells good though. The thing about some of these paint bottles, for some reason, like for instance, this purple smells kind of like grape. So, but nobody wants a grape cake. Get those holes. It's not bad. It's not bad. Now, I do want to try and get, let's see if I can get some of this spackle icing out of the piping bag. Scrape it out, and I can put some on the top of the cake. I can squish it out too. Now, I think even if you are a person who can accomplish the rosettes, that the quart-sized bag was a little bit easier to manage than the gallon-sized bag. So, put it over here so you can see. The quart-sized bag was easier to manage than the gallon-sized bag. So that, if that's something that makes you feel a little bit more confident, then that's good. Now, I think when a person makes these videos, part of their goal is to teach. So I am going to swirl. Swirl, swirl, swirl. I don't know how I did it so easily last time. I didn't have any spots. You know how you back yourself into a corner? I did not have that issue last time, so I can't remember what I did to not have that issue last time. But I don't want to have that issue today. So let's see if I can just get it on there. It seems to be working. Okay. I'm feeling good about myself. And the more texture on the top, I think. Oh, you see a little spackle that hadn't been blended. Okay, just mix it in as best you can. But the more texture on the top, I think, gives the cake a little bit more eye appeal. Let's see, eye candy. Let's see, what's a good word? But it makes it appealing, makes it more appealing to look at. So texture on the top, that's something to think about. Let's see. You scrape off and get just a little bit more executable. One thing I'm noticing is on the sides, and it may be the spackle in the middle, I may want to make the layer in the middle of the layer of spackle in between the layers of cake a little bit more flat, like actually spread it around, because I think it's sucking in the sides. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you see that circle, that line around the edges? I think it's sucking in the sides somehow. So I may go back and do another layer around the sides. And this is working. This is working. It's just sucking in somehow. And let's just fix it. Fix it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just has to be interesting to look at. What I think I want to do for this purple is add some kind of color to it. So, because a purple cake, who wants just a regular plain old purple cake? So, I think what I may do is, again, try and do some type of rosette on the top, or try to add some type of border. Figure that out. Figure that out. Now, one thing that I did see is in my set of piping tips, this circle tip. It's a circle tip, and it gives just a smooth type of icing, I guess. What I could do is pipe white icing around the top and around the side, the bottom edge, I imagine. This is not a bad looking cake though. It's not a bad looking cake. It's cute. And just as reference, I hate to dirty up my pink cake. Let's see which fingers are clean. This is my first cake, my pink cake. So side by side, I think I have cake props. All right. I think I am going to mix together some white icing. Let's put my purple icing to the side, my red icing, my blue icing, paint. I have white paint, okay? White paint, things might have been from the 50 cents section. Again, some of the paint was $1, some of the paint was 50 cents. I am going to get a paper towel. Real quick, excuse me from the set. Grab some paper towels. And I'm going to wipe off my spatula. I do plan to use my spatula again for mixing. And cleanliness is next to godliness. So if I get enough of it off, I don't have to worry about it mixing in with my white icing. So I'm just going to get it off as best I can. I should have done what most cake cutters would do, have a cup of water next to, throw it off to the side. I don't want it in my video. Have a cup of water next to when you're cutting a cake. Don't you always have a cup of water? And then when you're cutting in between cuts, you go ahead and dip your knife in the water to get the excess icing off. So in the future, that's what I'll do. So I'm just wiping off the purple, and it's coming off really good. Oh, did I mention? I didn't get this spatula from the dollar store. I got this from Walmart, and it was a set of 2 for 88 cents. So I was expecting to go back to the dollar store and buy the one spatula for $1. But I lucked up at Walmart, and it might be because of the holiday, I'm not certain. But it was actually a set of 2 for 88 cents. So don't know if you can see it. Set of 2 for 88 cents. And they're big, and they seem to be better. They're mainstay products. So the other from the dollar store is what you call Betty Crocker, but it's just one for $1. So sometimes look around, do some smart shopping. You know, you don't always have to pick up the first thing that you see. I'm going to try and make a border around the cake. So I'm using the spackle again. And it's already white. Now, some of the tutorials that I watched, they just go ahead and use the spackle in its original form. I don't like it. I think that it's not as white as I would want it to look like on a cake. So I want it to be an actual white color. So I'm going to go ahead and put some in the cup. Put my top back on the spackle again. Can't see it's offset. Keeping things clean and orderly. I'll use my white paint. Just a drop or two. I could take the tab off of the, can you see this? Uh-oh. Could take the tab off of the top, but I didn't want to do it because it would take time to do. So go ahead and put that back on there. Got white paint on my fingers. Not a big deal. Paper towels, clean up anything. My white paint on top. I'm going to, let's see, what would be the easiest way? Use my spatula to try and stir it. I don't know. It's kind of big. But as you can see, it's a good white. It's a good white. It's a difference between the white of the spackle. I don't know if you can see the difference. This is a bright white, and the spackle is kind of a dull color white. Now, if you notice, when I added the paint, it thinned it out. So let's go back and do what I did before and add some starch, some cornstarch. It's going to thicken just a little plastic spoonful. Just to thicken it up. And I'll add some more. Ooh, it's powder, so it's poofing out. Add some more spackle. Ooh, it is thicker. Now, of course, I could have used a bowl or something, but I'm trying to use tools that are easily ready, cheap to use, not something I have to throw away from my own kitchen, but I could throw away because it's disposable. So I'm not using a bowl because a bowl I might want to use again. But a plastic cup, I don't have to reuse. Now, let's see. Maybe not florets, or maybe just little dots, maybe little dollops. But I am again going to try to use my pastry tips. I want to learn how to do this. So a little bit more spackle. And there is a difference in the color. You can see that right there in the cup. There's a difference in the color. The shadow might overpower it, but there's a difference in the color from the spackle itself and the white paint. So put it on there. Get it in there. Top back on so my spackle doesn't dry out. And keep stirring. Stir, 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 stir. Looks like icing to me. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, if you put a container of icing in front of me, it wouldn't be enough left to put on the cake. That's funny, but it's the truth. So, yeah, why do I need to lie about that? But, yeah, it was fun times being a kid. That was fun. Eating icing. I don't know if Mom ever noticed that the icing would disappear, but the icing sure did taste good. It sure did. Okay, I'm going to use these awful scissors again from the dollar store. They are dollar store scissors. They typically work on things, but for today, they are not working on my plastic bags. They worked last week, but this time they're giving me the blues. So probably use scissors that you would get from a bathroom kit or something, toiletry kit. It did eventually work. I did get a good cut. I'm going to put my icing tip right there in the corner. I'll push it through because my cut wasn't that deep. Don't want to make it too far, push it too far in there. But I guess the smaller hole is keeping it in place, so I'm happy with that. The smaller hole is keeping it in place. I'm going to add my icing into my piping bag. I don't know if you can see. I have big hands, I apologize. Add my icing into my piping bag. My son is about to start some laundry. I'm gonna ask him to shut the door so he doesn't affect my video. Life happens. And, okay, let's try this again. So, take my icing and squeeze it down, making sure that the icing gets down into my piping tool, piping tip. I turn so that my icing doesn't come out. And what do I want to do? Okay. Do I try and make a circle or do I just make little dots? Dot. Oh, that's interesting. Dot. Oh, cute. Dot. 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 I'm making them closer together for some reason. This may not turn into what I want it to look like. I'm learning as I go. I feel better. It's not perfect, but it's a start. If I keep going all the way around on the inside, I might have a cake that has white icing all over the top. Or I might give up again and just use my spatula because I'm not certain how I like this. It might look like it has marshmallows on the top. I don't know. I quit. I won't quit on... I should have probably just gone around in a circle. Let's see. I am going to scoop this out. of the piping bag and just slather it on with my spatula. Yay! Because that's probably the best way to handle it. I don't want purple mixed in, so I'll scrape that off. Go from the inside out. Go from the inside out. Let me see. Ooh. Let's take these edges in. And then take these edges out. Now you see I'm using my turntable, so that's working. Take this in, take this out. Use some more icing from the cup. More icing from the cup. And I have another idea. One thing I did do from the dollar store. Now this dollar store I went to was further out in the county, and it had more fun things to work with, more let's call them craft items. And what it had was these little dots that look like sprinkles. So what I think I'm going to do is use those little dots and sprinkle them all over the top. And I will have this purple cake with sprinkles on top. So again, I'm trying not to mix my purple icing with my white icing. I might have a spot or two, but if I add my sprinkles, then I may be able to pull it off and you won't be able to tell. So may be able to accomplish what I'm trying to do. Put that up there. Oops. Bloop, bloop, bloop. So, not perfect, but it's cute and it's crafty. And it looks somewhat like a cake. It does. It looks like a cake. It looks like a cake. I'm still trying not to mix my colors, but again, it's not perfect. Nothing is perfect under the sun. That one's getting a little mixed up. Let me take some of this off of the edge. Get some of that purple off of there. Take it off. Take it off, take it off, take it off, take it off. But with my sprinkles, and that'll be what I add last. Oh, it does smell like grapes though. My sprinkles, and the sprinkles are a multicolored sprinkles, of course. They're just little dots. They're not edible. Because I don't want to add anything edible to this craft, because it will just be sitting on a shelf until someone wants to use it for a prop. It's up to the client. if they want to use it or not. Hopefully they will, because I spent, you know, my quality time working on it, and it's fun, and it's cute. It's not horrible. I am mixing that purple in. I didn't want to do that. Let me see. Get the glop right there. Put that right there. Perfect. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. It looks like a cake to me. Let me see. Get that purple off of there. One thing I did want to share is the fact that last week's icing, it's still usable. That is something I wanted to share, and I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Once I do add the sprinkles to the top, it should be a nice looking cake. Let's see. So I got the white, I got the purple on the sides. Now don't mind the paper plate at the bottom, because that won't be used. It'll be disposed of. I think it looks okay. I think it looks okay. Maybe if I find someone to help me learn how to pipe, it might look better, but for the meantime, this looks decent. Now, I did want to show you, let me see, where are they? The icing from last week. All I did was I took it and I put it in a plastic freezer bag. I think this is a freezer bag. Yes, it's a freezer bag. And I actually put it in a sandwich bag inside of the freezer bag. I used a little bit more of the light pink than I did the dark pink. And it's still good. So if you are going to do multiple cakes and you're planning on using your colors again, you don't have to throw it away. It's holding up. It's still soft and it's still pliable. So you can go ahead and add whatever color, let's say white, or some more plaster to it, or mix the colors to make another color and just add it together, and instead of throwing it out, reuse. So saving money there as well. I think all in all, this was a good project. I'm pretty excited about it. I didn't spend a lot of money. There's still some tools here that I haven't used yet, and I want to try them. The Rosettes were a no-go again. But the cake number 1, cake number 2, they look great. I'm proud of them. I'm going to put some sprinkles on the top, and I'll move on to another project. Thank you for watching. Excuse my dog. The dog is still in the show. Thank you for watching TSDitto Studio. I said it wrong again. Thank you for watching TSDitto Photography Studio and Galleries video on how to make a fake cake, dummy cake, inexpensive, saving money for photography props, studio props, and trying to enhance the ambiance for the photo shoots. Have a wonderful day. I'll add the sprinkles and I will show you the final product at the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and listen for notifications. TSDitto Photography Studio and Gallery really likes your company and really enjoys having you around. I hope you enjoy having me around too. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye-bye.